So my husband and I started seeking a different educational pathway for our child because one, the schooling was getting pretty overwhelmed. For instance, in fifth grade, he had 4 hours of homework. And it wasn't because the teachers were trying to give him 4 hours of homework, but when you have a child with a learning disability, you have to add on minutes to be able to get through those particular skills, for them to understand, for them to retain, and then for them to continue to move through, that assignment. And so we did see parts of our child's development in other areas, whether it be leadership or whether it be communication or whether it be social connections, or his spirituality or his emotional wellness really being kind of put off to the side. And we didn't want to just put that off to the side as parents because he's a whole person. And so the educational piece was really important to us, but also the development of the whole person was just as important to us, because all those skills are going to be used when he moves out into the community and continues to fulfill his role with his gifts and talents and abilities. I think for us, our concern actually started pretty quickly after our son was born, only because we found out that he wasn't developing with some of the stepping stones that he should have been developing. And so questions started popping up, flags started going up, and we didn't necessarily think about necessarily as his education, but just him as a person in regards to his development. And I think then after the brain scan, it kind of locked us in that we needed to get going right away in regards to different services, occupational therapy, physical therapy, vision therapy, sensory therapy, social work, language therapy, so speech therapy. So all those started for our son very early on in his life. So he's always kind of been in school. And then working with the doctors, we knew that he needed to be in programs where he was going to be around individuals that were speaking, that were showing, social connections. And so he actually started a program full day, full school, since he was 2. And then obviously as kindergarten started approaching, we started to really have to advocate for him even more so, in regards to his educational pathway. And so I guess for us, advocating very early was really important for his development and his success, as all those stages and all those years kind of add up. So then he started in the regular, kindergarten program, and he was behind already. And so we actually did a second year of kindergarten with him and just continued to work with the teachers and the social workers and the occupational therapists with that. But when it really started becoming apparent that he needed some additional support systems was fifth grade again, when he was getting 4 hours of homework. And it was just really hard to manage as a family because you start to feel like all you're doing is the educational piece. And so Lake Michigan Academy came into our sights when Nanette Clatterbuck came to Grand Rapids Community College for a learning day for faculty, and she was a guest speaker. And she shared not about Lake Michigan Academy, but just about disabilities and supports to individuals with learning disabilities. And it just kind of put something on our minds, and we continued to look into things and realize that this was a place that we needed to look into. There's a lot of big differences. I think what my son would tell you is that he can learn here. The class sizes are smaller, and so he's able to really get extra time, get extra support in regards to his education. And everything at Lake Michigan Academy is personalized per the student. They really take time to get to know the students and their needs in regards to how are they going to be successful on this math project or this assignment. And all the kids may have a similar assignment, but they're getting through it differently. And they're addressing those students in regards to their personalized curriculum. I think another thing my son might say is that he finally is able to connect to peers. And it wasn't that he didn't have friends at his other school. He had friends, but he was so stressed out about school that, again, so many of those other pieces of a human being were being sacrificed because he was so stressed out about getting his homework done or having to stay after to get additional support. And all those things were great that were being provided to him, but when you start missing out on the total human being, you start seeing withdrawal. And so we were very concerned that he was becoming a wallflower in his classroom. He was always going to be the kid that was good. He was always going to be the kid that was nice. And the teachers always said that, but they were missing out on him of who he was as a leader, building friendships, being able to communicate his needs. And so those are a couple big things for him. Our child has improved in so many ways. He is more confident, and that was a huge piece that was missing. Again, he was so stressed out all of the time. I mean, his body language showed stress. His emotions showed stress. He was stressed all of the time. And so, again, a young man that we are very concerned about in development of all areas. So he's become stronger as just an individual, speaking up for himself, advocating for his needs are. His social connection piece is coming together. He's communicating a lot better. He feels better just as a whole in regards to who he is as a person, what he can do in the future. Like he wants to succeed, and those were not conversations that he had because he was so stressed all the time. And so it has really allowed him to be a kid and learning about the world, not just school, but the world in general. So challenges in regards to moving to Lake Michigan Academy. Transportation and just finagling our schedules to be able to make sure that we could get our son here to the school and picked up from the school at the appropriate times. But even with that said, you're always going to have challenges, and Lake Michigan Academy has been very, very open to working with the parents in regards to how to finagle that transportation kind of issue. Obviously, the cost. I mean, we were going to a public school, so there was no cost to education. And here it's a private school, so you do have a tuition. And so we had to obviously look at our budget and go through that. But even with those challenges, and obviously there was family, like we had to change the course of our family a little bit to meet these needs. But even with these challenges, we knew that there was a bigger picture in mind, that you have to make decisions that are going to best suit that child's needs. And so we just have come into this as a team with our family, but also a team with Lake Michigan Academy, and just having open conversations in regards to the needs of our child, but also the needs of our family. I know on the day that our child had to come to Lake Michigan Academy just to spend a day here, for him to get to know the space, but also for the teachers to get to know him, the administrators to get to know him, and also for them to evaluate him, if you will, because they wanted to make sure that they had a team of people that were going to be able to put together what they needed to put together for him to be successful. But on that day, Remington walked out of the doors, and we didn't even ask him. He said, "I need to come to this school." And when you're 12 years old and you can articulate that you need to come to a different school because he already had felt it on that one day, what it was going to do for him, there was no question. We had to figure it out. We had to figure out how to get here. As a parent, you have to be real with yourself. You have to obviously continue to advocate for your children's needs, whoever your child is. Don't let any of those challenges or their obstacles interfere with making the best choice. We have made the best choice for our child, and he would not be where he is at today without the team of people that have been around him. He has grown in so many ways since attending Lake Michigan Academy. And so make sure that you keep those doors open for possibilities. And if a door closes, go and open up another one and ask questions and advocate and be real, and make sure that you are on a path that you can develop